How's everyone doing? Today I'll be reviewing Curse of Chucky. And if you've seen Curse of Chucky, definitely let me know what you think of it as well. Curse of Chucky is the 6th film in the Child's Play Chucky franchise, and it comes 9 years after Seed of Chucky and 25 years since the original Child's Play. Curse of Chucky is written and directed by Don Mancini, who has either written or co-written every movie in the Child's Play Chucky franchise, so it's great to have him on board here again for the 6th installment. And Chucky has a revamped look here for Curse of Chucky, and at first I was a little bit hesitant when I saw some of the pictures and teaser clips. You know, the face looks a little bit different than what I was used to, but then I watched the movie and I ended up really loving what they do with his face, especially towards the end of the movie. It really works well. Curse of Chucky starts off with Nica, who's a wheelchair-bound paraplegic living with her mother in this nice big house in the middle of the woods, and they get a surprise delivery. The delivery man comes with a big box and they open it up and it's Chucky. And you know, they can't find a return address label or where it came from, and they're kind of perplexed. They're like, nobody ordered this doll, where did it come from? And so the mother ends up throwing the doll in the garbage, and shortly after that the mother dies mysteriously. Is there any connection? What do you think? And from there, Nica has to set up the funeral, and so she has her family come over. She has her sister Barb, and then Barb's husband Ian, and then Barb and Ian have a 5-year-old daughter named Alice, and they also have a nanny named Jill, and Barb also brings her priest along to kind of console Nica. And of course, 5-year-old Alice takes right to Chucky, and they become best buds, but soon after that, Nica starts to suspect that Chucky is more than he seems. And of course, there's some relationship drama going on with Nica and her sister Barb and her husband Ian, and the nanny Jill all in there as well, so lots of different things going on there. And shortly after that, the electricity goes off, there's a big storm going on outside, and their cell phones won't work, and the phone line is down. And of course, Nica is wheelchair bound, so she has to use the elevator to get to different floors of the house, and of course she can't do that now since the electricity is out. And with the storm going on outside and the no electricity, they're trapped inside with Chucky, and they have to fight to survive. And I really like the big house secluded in the middle of the woods. Definitely gives you kind of that feeling that you can't get away, especially with the storm. It really works well. It's a great setting for this movie. And even at nighttime with the exterior shots, the house looks very creepy and ominous, and it looks like a horror movie should be filmed there. And Brad Dourif is back as Charles Lee Ray and Chucky, and his daughter, Fiona Dourif, plays the lead actress here, Nica. And I do want to say the actress who plays the character of Barb, Nica's sister, looks like a doll herself. She looks like she's had a lot of plastic surgery done, especially with her lips. They look just filled with collagen. It just looks so unnatural to look at her. I was just like, ugh, ugh. Curse of Chucky is dramatically paced. There's not a lot going on for the first half of the movie, and I think that might turn off some fans of the Chucky franchise who are expecting just lots of horror, action, and comedy, and a lot of campiness all throughout the movie, like the past previous sequels have been. But that's not the case here, but I do think the dramatic pacing works well for this film. There was a relationship twist that I did not see coming at all, and speaking of twists, I really like the Exorcist head twist that Chucky does in here as well. Curse of Chucky has great atmosphere. There's some creepy moments here, especially when you pan around the house and you pan around and see Chucky just sitting in the chair, and you got some close-ups right tight on his face, and the under the cover scene was totally creepy. Love that scene, and there's some great gore and comedic aspects here, which you come to expect from the Chucky movies, and I thought the gore was actually really good. Some of the better gore of the previous sequels by far, in my opinion. Curse of Chucky also gives you more of a backstory to Charles Lee Ray and why he targeted this specific family. For me, Curse of Chucky is easily the best in the franchise since the original. By far the best of the sequels. It's not nearly as campy as the previous sequels. It's got a darker tone to it, great atmosphere, great pacing. It just works really well as a whole. It's a very well-made film from top to bottom. It does have some campiness to it. I mean, after all, it's a serial killer trapped inside of a doll, you know, killing people. But it's not as campy as the previous sequels, and it's more about the build-up here. Great suspense and tension all throughout. And it has way better production values than I was expecting, too. I love the cinematography. I love some of the shots where it's just panning around the house and, you know, zooming in on Chucky. It's just sitting there and looking ominous and creepy. And I love the title sequence as well. Great camera work overall, and I love the score. In the beginning, it's kind of whimsical, and then by the end, it gets a darker tone to it, and it really works well for each one of the scenes in the movie. I thought the cast overall was pretty decent, especially the lead, Fiona Dourif. She did a great job here as Nica. And also with the actress who played Barb. At first I didn't really care for her, especially the way she looked. She looked really fake, but that actually lends itself to the role. That kind of creepy fake face look kind of reminds me of Cruella de Vil a little bit. And you're supposed to hate this character, so she does a good job in that aspect because you really do hate her. And the house not only works for being creepy and ominous looking, it also works for giving Chucky plenty of places to hide all throughout the house. Because there's plenty of places to hide in this big house, and it gives you lots of tension and suspense when people are trying to find Chucky and he's hiding in the house. And I really like the Chucky POV shots. I think they utilized that very well. They could have done a little bit more with it, but it works. And of course, there's the stereotypical aspect when Nica tries to explain to other people that Chucky is going around killing people, and they look at her like she's crazy. They're like this cute little dolls killing people, and then they start to realize maybe there's more to it than they initially realized, and maybe Chucky really is killing people. And I love the old school practical effects here with that syrupy blood just splattering out. No CG effects here. And I also appreciate that Curse of Chucky is self-aware. There's a part where the character Ian says, "It's only a doll, what's the worst that can happen?" Yeah. Curse of Chucky has some great gore effects and kills. I love the car scene and the eyeball scene, and I can't wait for the next film in the franchise. I really like the twist at the end of the movie with a certain cameo. I think that really works well, especially with this franchise as a whole and the previous sequels leading up to this. But the actual ending kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen with this franchise and the character of Chucky in general. I kind of felt it was a little bit out of place and unnecessary the way that it ended, but stay tuned because after the credits there's an additional scene, and I thought that scene was awesome. Very fitting for this franchise overall and what happened towards the end of the movie leading up to that part. I really like that. I would have actually preferred that to be the actual ending. I think fans of the Child's Play Chucky franchise are going to be divided. I think a lot of the fans are expecting that same kind of campy, horror, comedy, action all throughout with this movie, and that's not the case here. This movie is all about that dramatic pacing, that build up. There's lots of mood and tension and suspense here, great atmosphere all throughout. So it's a different style of movie than what you're used to seeing in the Chucky franchise, but I think it really works well here. It feels like a classic haunted house possession movie, but instead of ghosts and demons, you have a doll who's possessed by a serial killer going around killing people. Overall, I really enjoyed Curse of Chucky, but I do think it's going to be divided by fans. For me, it works well. It's by far my favorite in the franchise besides the original. Easily my favorite of the sequels. And I give Curse of Chucky an 8 out of 10 stars. If you've seen Curse of Chucky, definitely let me know what you think of it as well. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.